Hey, welcome to Let's Grow Together with Kalyan, Shruti and Richa. ये पॉडकास्ट सीरीज बनाया ही गया है टू लर्न फ्रॉम द इंडस्ट्री एक्सपर्ट्स. ये ट्विटर स्पेस सीरीज को पॉडकास्ट में कन्वर्ट किया गया है सो एवरीथिंग इज रॉ एंड अनफिल्टर्ड. You will hear the audience asking questions to the guest as well. कि ये podcast series is going to be super insightful. So come with an open mind and I promise you बहुत कुछ सीखने मिलेगा. So let's start the podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Hi,
Hey
can you
Saili.
hear me? Hi.
Yes, we can hear you. कैसे हो आप?
Great. बढ़िया यार बढ़िया फाइनली we're doing this. I'm very excited. क्या क्या
ये
प्लान किया था यार लास्ट ईयर?
yes, I know. बहुत कुछ प्लान किया था. To people who don't know, I had a word with Saili and Niyati like 1 year back, and हम लोग ने बहुत कुछ डिस्कस किया था. Like I wanted to do a lot of stuff with them. I
Yeah,
Yeah, but that didn't happen. But this is happening. This is
it's
happening.
okay. कोई बात नहीं.
Yes. So we are very excited for this space, right, Shruti?
Right, very much.
Okay. So unfortunately मैंने पहले भी बताया नियति और even Richa cannot join us because of family emergency, but that should not stop us from having an amazing space like this one. So
I agree.
yes. So a quick introduction to Saili. Basically, Saili is a finance content creator. She has a company called Fin Cocktail where they make finance contents, and they are all over. Like they are on YouTube, they have their own website. They are doing a lot of new stuff, and they are particularly very active on Instagram where they have 150K followers. Do you want to add something to this, Ailey? I'm sure I'm missing out on so many things that you guys do. So if you can just tell us, the audience, what you guys do.
No, honestly, you got it bang on completely. Niyati and I have both been trying to change the face of financial literacy. We're just trying, one by one reel at a time, trying to make finance very simple, very easy. Because both of us love finance. She herself is a CFA. I am an MBA in finance. I've been an investment banker. She has worked in wealth management. And the funny thing is, both of us love it, but both of us think it's unnecessarily complicated by people who I don't know why they enjoy making things complicated. So we like making things simple. So I think that's why we are like, चलो simple बनाते हैं किसको सबसे ज्यादा समझ में तो फाइनेंस ही आता है तो फाइनेंस को सिंपल बनाते हैं.
अच्छा तो बेसिकली ना वन क्वेश्चन दैट आई हैव एंड आई एम श्योर बहुत लोग को भी होगा बिकॉज यू गाइस स्टार्टेड वेरी अर्ली ऑन सोशल मीडिया. सो हाउ डिड दिस थिंग
Mhm.
हैपन, लाइक हाउ डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये इतना बड़ा होने वाला है फ्यूचर में? बिकॉज उस टाइम पे रील्स बस स्टार्ट हुए थे. आई एम श्योर यू वर द अर्ली राइडर्स ऑफ
Correct.
दोज टाइम व्हेन रील्स जस्ट स्टार्टेड. हाउ डिड
Yeah.
यू लाइक हैड एन आइडिया कि ये इतना ऊपर जा सकता है, इतना कुछ हो सकता है?
Honestly, we didn't have an idea at that time कि ये इतना बड़ा बन जाएगा. That time बस focus एक ही था कि एक नया medium आया है और you can make cute reel videos on it, and it seems like an interesting way to put your point across, and makes it very easy for you to disseminate information. और anyway lockdown था ना, तो सब घर पे बैठ के anyway सोशल मीडिया पे थे या फिर नेटफ्लिक्स या प्राइम देख रहे थे, बाकी तो कुछ था नहीं करने को. तो I think it's nothing that anybody can foresee, honestly. We were just right there at the right time, and it was crazy, that entire explosion that happened.
Correct. So we should start now. If so, let's start with the first question. I mean, when we are talking about portfolios, the first thing that comes across anyone, तो किसी के भी दिमाग में एक ही चीज आता है कि अगे सब लोग बोलते हैं कि वेल डाइवर्सिफाइड होना चाहिए पोर्टफोलियो. बट हाउ डज अ वेल डाइवर्सिफाइड इन्वेस्टमेंट पोर्टफोलियो लुक्स लाइक, इफ यू मे आंसर दैट साइली?
So, okay, so a lot of people started, throw this word around. कि what is like well diversified portfolio. Diversification ये एक बड़ा common सा शब्द हो गया है, तो सब अभी like everybody starts like talking about it and throwing it around. But it has very big implications, especially if you're creating your entire investment portfolio. So a well diversified portfolio looks literally like a good mithai ka dabba जिसमें like various mithais are all there in one. It looks like that. Matlab, it doesn't have just one particular type of mithai. It has every single possible asset class. तो मतलब ऐसा it's literally something that we all talk about is not putting all your eggs in one basket. So it's something that looks like a very nice, very defined, very different मिठाई का डब्बा जो दिवाली विवाली में मिलता है ना. So basically you'll have like stocks, you'll have bonds, you'll have FDs, you'll have PPF, you'll have real estate, and of course you'll have crypto also. So it's just basically investing in all different types of asset classes in different percentages. Now, that percentage is going to be different for every single person. Now, a well diversified portfolio for me is not the same as a well diversified portfolio for you, Kalyan, or you, Shruti, for example. Because आपके और मेरे डाइवर्सिफिकेशन नीड्स अलग है. अगर मतलब मैं एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट तक रिस्क उठा सकती हूँ जिंदगी में बिकॉज आई हैव डिफरेंट लाइफ गोल्स, आई हैव डिफरेंट बैकअप्स एक्सेट्रा, और आपके अलग होते हैं. तो अ वेल डाइवर्सिफाइड पोर्टफोलियो इज डिफरेंट फॉर एवरीवन. You just have to make sure that it includes all the different types of asset classes that are there, that are out there, so you can take advantage of every single one.
That makes sense. And when we discuss about diversification, uh, उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे एक इंडिविजुअल को ये भी सोचना चाहिए कि उसका एज क्या है एंड everything like the age really matters, right? To decide whether.
More than more than age, I think it's your entire background. Okay, because we really like to talk about three things when anybody talks about their investments with us. Number one is your financial goals. Number two is your liquidity requirement, and number three is your risk appetite. Now, age, yes, age is important because usually क्या होता है कि when you're younger, your life goals are different. ना कि पहली जॉब है, पहली गाड़ी है, पहला घर है, फिर रिटायरमेंट का तो आप सोचते नहीं हो बिकॉज दैट इज फार ऑफ इन द फ्यूचर. बट what it age only has that to do with it, but somebody else who's come up in a different background, who has a lot of debt from the entire family etc., will have different life goals. So more than age, these three things matter more. Your age helps you have a longer term vision in terms of investments, because आपके पास वो टाइम होता है इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए, तो आप थोड़ी ज्यादा रिस्क ले सकते हो. So your age helps determine this risk appetite and your liquidity requirement कि मतलब आपको सख्त जरूरत पैसों की कम होती है छोटी उम्र में, right? Like it's not like oh you have aging parents or lots of retirement requirements etc. इसके लिए. So I think these three things are more important than age specifically, but yes, of course, age plays a role in that.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you so much, Saili. So next question के लिए I'll go to Shruti. Shruti will be asking you the next question. But before that, Shruti is into marketing and I am really sorry मैंने श्रुति को introduce ही नहीं किया साइली के साथ. Basically, Shruti is into marketing and Shruti wanna add something to this?
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely want to add hi, Saili, and the work that you're doing is amazing. I checked out all of your work, and when Kalyan introduced me about, told me about the you guys, and that you guys will be joining us as a guest in our upcoming space, I was very, very much excited. So, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And next question from my end, I wanted to ask regarding asset allocation. So I would like to know that when somebody is planning to invest or build a investment portfolio, how much does an individual personality's risk appetite matter while doing this asset allocation?
That's a great question, honestly. See, asset allocation is again one more थोड़ा heavy type word हो जाता है. Finance is finance is literally भरा हुआ with so many heavy words, which actually mean very simple things.
Mhm.
But it's essentially, yes, your risk appetite is right up there when you have to determine your asset allocation, because your risk appetite determines कि आप कौन से assets में कितना invest करते हैं, correct? And asset allocation is just that कि मतलब आप कितना percentage आपके portfolio का allocate करते हो किस asset में. Stocks हो गया, bonds हो गया, FD हो गया, like real estate हो गया, सब कुछ. So your risk appetite definitely matters a lot. Like I said, all three things: financial goals, liquidity requirement, and risk appetite. These three things drive every single decision you make in your investment portfolio. So asset allocation के लिए we have this cute little rule, which is a thumb rule, which states that it's 100 minus age, okay, of your rule. Now this goes back to the last question a little bit. कि you tend to be able to take more risk when you are younger, correct? Because आपके पास इतनी responsibilities नहीं होती है, you don't have that much इतना plan नहीं करना होता है. Maybe you're single, maybe just married, don't have children, etc. Again, depends. Every single case is different, but it tends to happen like that. That younger you are, you can take a little bit more risk. So it says,
So
this
true.
rule states that 100 minus your age. So, for example, if you're 20, 100 minus 20, 80% you should invest in equity or equity related assets. बाकी 20% आप डाल दो debt में. So, debt is less risky, equity is more risky. And because you're younger, you can take more risk. You can give it more time in the market. Long term investment आप कर सकते हो. इसके लिए 100 minus your age rule. That is a very basic way to start thinking about asset allocation. Now, this is just the first step, okay? Obviously, asset allocation में सब कुछ you have to figure out. You have to figure out equity, debt, real estate, your emergency fund, सब कुछ. But this is a good starting point to see कि अच्छा आप actually कुछ debt के लिए allocate कर रहे हो या नहीं, या सारा पैसा stocks में डाल दिया या सारा पैसा डाल दिया crypto में. ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए. That's why.
It looks like no, this is the best way to start, like when you are starting your investment, and especially understanding the asset allocation and risk
Absolutely.
appetite.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Sally, for Kalyan. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, so basically, जैसे साइली ने भी बोला ना कि there are so many big words thrown around and it
Right.
makes very difficult. किसी को सुन के लगता है कि यार कैसे समझे asset allocation क्या है,
Seriously.
but turns out it is very very simple. And this is and साइली, क्या आपको लगता है कि these big words are something that stops someone to not pursue and उनको ऐसा लगता है कि finance is very difficult? I mean, this could be one of the points, right? This big
Oh,
words.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. कितनी सारी मेरी मतलब मेरी जो like literally so many of my friends have come up to me and said कि अच्छा you know what, मैंने ये पढ़ना चालू किया इसके बारे में, मैंने स्टॉक के बारे में थोड़ा कुछ पढ़ा, पर इतने बड़े बड़े वर्ड्स थे उसमें कि मैंने तो मतलब सॉरी गिव अप कर दिया. It's such a big hurdle, and I don't know why it is so, because I personally love finance and I find it very interesting. पैसा कमाना और उसे बढ़ाना किसे अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, right? But I think it's just made to seem complicated to, I don't know, by some rich white men in the States or something like that, where it began. I have no idea. But I think it's just made to seem very complicated so that, like, people in suits can always guard that, acha, this is finance and we know more. So give us your money, we will handle it. But no, everybody can handle their own money. I think we need to give back the power of handling our own finances to the people.
Yeah,
But I
I
Yes.
think
think I think one more point here. Finance definitely is made supremely complicated. इसमें, and I can tell you from my experience, that I studied at IIM Calcutta, which is like a pretty good institution for finance, and even there हमें काफी complex तरीके से चीजें पढ़ाई जाती थी. Finance is not complicated at all. In fact, if you understand finance well, right, people can make massive amounts of money. मतलब, you look at Warren Buffett, right? He made massive amounts of money
I agree.
through equity investing. And with regards to asset allocation, right, people need to understand the returns that different asset classes provide. So one asset, if you were the key asset classes that we were talking about, right, bonds हो गए, gold हो गया, FD हो गया. तो गोल्ड आपको 8% का रिटर्न देगा मोटा मोटी. अगर आप उसका गोल्ड का लॉन्ग टर्म एवरेज देखो 8 से 10% है. रियल एस्टेट है वो 4 से 6% देगा. इक्विटी में निफ्टी में पैसा डाल दोगे, लॉन्ग रन में 12% पैसा देगा। अगर अच्छे कंपनीज में पैसा डालोगे तो आपको 50% का भी रिटर्न देगा। So I think it depends on the kind of investing you want to do, and depends on the kind of asset class you're playing with. If you play with real estate and gold, um, uh, uh, returns will be like much lesser. But if you play with asset classes like
True.
equity, returns will be massive. Yeah.
True, true, true. Thank you so much, Aditya, adding that. We'll go to the next question, but before that, na Saili, you just mentioned this point, जहाँ पे because of these words things get little out of hand. And I recently visited a conference जहाँ पे वो पहला रूम में इन्वेस्टिंग की बातें चल रही थी, फंड मैनेजर्स इन्वेस्टिंग की बात कर रहे थे, दूसरे रूम में ट्रेडिंग की बात हो रही थी, तीसरे रूम में एल्गो ट्रेडिंग की बात हो रही थी, एंड द फर्स्ट रूम वाज कंप्लीटली एम्प्टी। फर्स्ट रूम में इन्वेस्टिंग के कोई था ही नहीं, एंड वहाँ के फंड मैनेजर्स लाइक बिग बिग एएमसी के फंड मैनेजर्स, एंड दे आर लाइक कि यू नो व्हाट, वो बाकी ट्रेडिंग वाले रूम पूरे भरे होंगे। एंड इवन दो पीपल नो समहाउ कि इन्वेस्टिंग से काफ़ी अमीर लोग बने हैं, be that Warren Buffett, be that Charlie Munger, yet people still want a quick way to make money. I'm not saying कि trading से सब लोग यही करना चाहते हैं, but deep down they have this feeling कि अमीर बना जा सकता है, तो probably trading से बना जा सकता है, क्योंकि investing का long horizon देखना is a very difficult thing for most people. Would you agree to this?
Oh, 100%. I won't just agree, I will add on to it. लोगों में ना पेशेंस नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है। देखो ना, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इवन द काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दैट वी आर कंज्यूमिंग टुडे, द काइंड ऑफ कंटेंट दैट वी आर कंज्यूमिंग टुडे,
Shruti, your mic is
it's
yeah, go ahead, Siley.
I was just saying that even the kind of content that we're consuming today has gone from like TV shows जो आधा घंटा पौना घंटा, films that were 3 hours whatever, to 30-second reels, और उसमें भी पहले 3 सेकंड में आप हुक अच्छा बनाओ, वरना सॉरी, attention is gone, you have to move ahead. So it reflects in every aspect, right? There is no patience in people anymore. They want returns, they want them today. आज एक मतलब 200 पॉइंट अगर सेंसेक्स गिर गया नीचे, तो एवरीबडी इज लाइक, ओ माय गॉड, शुड आई सेल माय इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, ओ माय गॉड क्या हो गया। कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला उससे आपके लॉन्ग टर्म पोर्टफोलियो में। आप 5 साल, 7 साल, 10 साल के होराइजन से इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, एंड यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट डेली ऊपर नीचे, इट एब्सोल्युटली मेक्स नो सेंस। which is why I think people are very focused on trying to understand trading, because उसमें वही होता है, right? Day trading is that आज सुबह ऊपर, आज रात को नीचे टाइप, बट उसमें रिस्क भी बहुत ज्यादा है। yes, you have a opportunity to make a lot of money through trading, but the risk of losing your capital and more, especially if you're trading on margin, is very high. And I would really suggest that people don't go into trading if they're not educated in that.
That makes sense. Plus, Siley, I've noticed one thing that because stock market ऐसा zigzag होता रहता है, people always feel कि they feel cheated whenever they see कि uh, in an ideal world the stock market has to move upwards, like x axis और y axis दोनों evenly ऊपर जाने चाहिए, but that doesn't happen, right? It is because zigzag होता है, ऊपर भी जाता है, नीचे भी जाता है. Everybody feels कि क्योंकि there is a foreign investors coming into and बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा वो डालते हैं, फिर बाद में निकाल लेते हैं. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट दे फील चीटेड कि ये स्टॉक का प्राइस इतना ऊपर गया था, बट मैं उस टाइम पे बेच नहीं पाया, या फिर ये स्टॉक का प्राइस इतना ऊपर गया था, मैंने उसको खरीदा नहीं. तो ये फील चीटेड फील होता है उनको. What would you say to such a thing? Like, I know this is a little weird, you should think of long term and everything, but every time people feel cheated, they feel ki stock market is not for me. I somehow did not make money, और इतना नहीं बनाया जितना बना सकता था, जितना बाकियों ने बनाया मैंने नहीं बनाया. सो डू यू कम अक्रॉस सच पीपल?
Oh, almost every day. It's quite, but this is again, see, you have to also realize that, okay, it's more on investor sentiment than actual hard facts or numbers. Varna, loss-making companies would never have made an IPO, or loss-making companies wouldn't have a valuation which is in the billions. Correct? Because it's the sentiment of what it has the potential to be. So, when you look at investor sentiment, there is always a certain level of regret. कि अरे ये स्टॉक तो इतना यहाँ पे था, मैंने इसमें क्यों नहीं इन्वेस्ट किया, एटसेट्रा. बट हाइंडसाइट इज ऑलवेज 2020. हमारे पास थोड़ी भविष्य थोड़ी देखने का लाइक जरिया है, राइट? सो नोबडी कैन रियली टेल टुडे which stock will become a multi-bagger tomorrow. If somebody is selling you something like that, please don't listen to them, because nobody can tell really when a stock will become a multi-bagger. Or yes, you can make an educated guess on if a particular one can become a multi-bagger. You can see potential, but if you're just, again, it's sentiment, it's human emotion that drives this, right? Where people regret not investing at a particular time, and people regret that कि ओ मैं इतना पैसा बना सकती थी. But वो तो past है ना. You can still do something, you can still keep investing, then you will see the returns of what you're doing currently. So forget about the past. Hindsight is always 2020. आगे का देखो, आगे क्या trends चल रहे हैं, where should you be looking to invest your money in right now, etc., etc.
Thank you, Saili, for sharing this. Again, talking about the like complicated terms which are there in finance and all the complications which is roaming around and people feeling that ये बहुत ही difficult या complicated है understand करना, be it investing or stock or anything. For that, people like Saili and Kalyan are there. So please do reach out to them, do follow them, guys. So it will be easier for you to understand things and understand investing, portfolio making, and stock market, everything. These guys share everything related to all these stuff, so please do connect with them. Now, moving to the next question, Saili. My question is related to the individual goals that we people have in our lives. So, I would like to know how important are individual goals like retirement, child's education, marriage, and something like higher education while allocating a portfolio, and how should a person move ahead or proceed further in this?
So extremely important, right? Because it comes under the top three criteria of when you are looking at asset allocation. Your financial goals also tie into your liquidity requirements. मतलब आपको इस पैसे की कब जरूरत पड़ेगी. आपको 2 साल में गाड़ी लेनी है, 5 साल में घर लेना है, 10 साल में आपके बच्चे हो जाएंगे तो उन्हें स्कूल भेजना है, एटसेट्रा. तो इट रियली हेल्प्स यू सॉर्ट ऑफ फिगर आउट कि आप कब तक ये पैसा इन्वेस्टेड रख सकते हैं. करेक्ट. सो दैट गिव्स यू योर इन्वेस्टमेंट होराइजन, एंड इट गिव्स यू योर रिस्क प्रोफाइल कि अगर आप 5-7 साल में इस पैसे की जरूरत पड़ेगी आपको, तो 5-7 years you can keep it invested. Correct. So you don't need it right now. Liquidity requirement. So then you can take a little bit more risk in it. You can invest it in equity esque assets where you can get that 12-15% return. So mapping out your financial goals is absolutely very, very important. And yes, again, it's more art than science. Financial goals change hote rehte hain, correct? Whatever you want in the next 6 months, you cannot predict last like 7 years ago what you will want today. So it's important, but it's also important to remember that they are dynamic and they will keep changing in the future.
दैट इज ट्रू, दैट मेक्स सेंस. बट साइली, अगर मैं एक 22 ईयर ओल्ड हूँ और मुझे नहीं पता दूर का कि क्या प्लानिंग करनी है, कैसे प्लानिंग करनी है. अभी मेरा बेटा समझदार होगा तो मैं उसे फॉरेन में भेजूंगा पढ़ने के लिए, या निकम्मा होगा तो उसके बिजनेस के लिए पैसे लगाऊंगा. हाउ वुड आई नो? आई डोंट नो कि इतना दूर का मैं कैसे सोचूं. तो कैसे करूं मैं गोल प्लानिंग? एनी आइडिया अबाउट दैट?
Of course. So everybody has basic goals, right, in their heart. कि मतलब आपको पता है कि अच्छा घर तो लेना है या गाड़ी तो लेनी है. If you don't want to buy a house, that's also perfectly fine, by the way. There's a big school of thought nowadays that don't want to own real estate. Perfectly fine. No issues with that. But like for example, abhi, like if you're in your 20s, you're finishing college, you will start work. आपको गाड़ी लेनी होगी 1-2 साल बाद, या लीज करनी होगी. यू मे सी अ मैरिज इन योर फ्यूचर, यू मे वांट टू पे इट फॉर योरसेल्फ. It's big picture goals you have to see. And like if you want to go abroad to study, that is also a financial goal. If you want to go on a trip abroad, that is also a financial goal. जो भी गोल हो आपके लाइफ में जिसके लिए पैसे लगते हैं, एप्पल वॉच हो, आईफोन हो, एयरपॉड्स हो, ट्रैवल हो, किसी को गिफ्ट देना हो, कुछ भी हो, all of them can be categorized as financial goals, and you can save up to for them, and you can lessen the burden on your head कि ओ EMI पे ले लिया, या उसके लिए पर्सनल लोन ले लिया, और समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो फाइनेंशियल गोल्स ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद बिग पिक्चर कि जिंदगी में मैं क्या करना चाहता हूँ. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, me now, I started my own business, right? I thought कि अच्छा कभी ना कभी तो business start कर लूंगी. So I had a different bank account where I used to keep very minimal amount, 5,000 every month. But it adds up. You'll be so surprised कि one like small investment, small deposit really adds up. So yes, beginning, how do you begin setting financial goals? Think big picture. 20-25 गोल्स लिख लो, उसमें से फिर प्रायोरिटाइज करो कि these 5 आर आई नो कि मुझे ये these 5 तो आई वांट फॉर श्योर, एंड देन पुट देम ऑन अ टाइमलाइन. स्मॉल टर्म, medium term, long term. Small term under 1 year, medium term between 1 to 3 years, and long term anywhere above 5 years. So yeah, that's the gist of it.
Thank you so much, Sayali. Definitely, this is very, very helpful strategy. One thing, so there are a few questions from our audience. One question is from Saurav. He's asking, I am in a phase where I want to withdraw some funds from mutual fund and how to decide when to withdraw. Sayali, would you like to answer this?
Sure. So withdraw because the market is on a high, because कल वो उससे भी ऊपर चला जाएगा. Okay, you should withdraw your funds only when you absolutely need it, and only when you feel like you've achieved a financial goal. If you are in that phase where you're like, you know what, acha, I've saved enough money, now I can put my down payment for my car, by all means, please invest, please withdraw your money. It's your money. Who are we to tell you when to withdraw it? It's completely your money, and you should use it for whenever you want it.
But this is a question which is, there are a lot of people who have this kind of question. They want to know, like, कि अभी निकालना चाहिए या नहीं निकालना चाहिए. मतलब there is this situation in life, जहाँ पे आपको जरूरत नहीं है, but you feel कि probably अभी कुछ time और रखना चाहिए या नहीं, जहाँ पे आपको ये पता नहीं होता कि म्यूचुअल फंड का आगे फ्यूचर क्या है, जिसमें आपने इन्वेस्ट किया है. So that is the question, I believe, from Saurav's end.
If
There is
that's the
another
case
question.
कि
Yeah.
अगर जरूरत नहीं है, sorry, अगर जरूरत नहीं है आपको, तो please don't withdraw your money. Please don't. It will only grow and it will only compound. और पैसे ना एक बार अपने बैंक अकाउंट में आ जाते हैं ना, विड्रॉ करके वो खर्च हो जाते हैं, वो रहते नहीं है. तो इट्स ऑलवेज इम्पोर्टेंट टू जस्ट, आई थिंक, stay invested as far as you can be.
True, true. Until and unless you need it for something very important. Another question he's asking is that I'm not that good in finance and finding difficult to study finance and invest money. Is it good to have personal CA or should I learn and do it myself? I believe this is a question from a lot of people. I believe काफी सारे लोगों का ये question होता है. साइली, आप बताओ इस पे please.
Absolutely. So, see, there are two ways to look at it, right? First things first, I'll be like, yes, I understand it is difficult to तो आप ये मत छोड़ो, like don't पर्सनल सीए तो रख लिया है, तो नाउ आई डोंट नीड टू लुक इनटू इट, ही विल हैंडल. वैसा कभी नहीं करना, क्योंकि वो आपका पैसा है, एंड यू शुड नो वेयर इट इज गोइंग, वेयर योर सीए इज इन्वेस्टिंग इट, और वेयर योर फाइनेंशियल.
Kalyan, are you able to hear her?
I think Siley, your voice is not coming. Something is wrong with the
Can you hear me now?
connection. Yes, much better. Yeah, go ahead, Siley.
Okay. Okay. I was just saying that don't stop learning, because it is finally your money, and you should know where your CA or your financial planner is investing your money. Aajkal, if you don't require a CA, CAs tend to be a little expensive. So nothing against CAs. I love them. I have lots of them in my family. Even my dad is one. But if you don't require one, if you are just like a two-income household, salaried people, etc., there's very little that CA usually does for you. You have a lot of financial planners nowadays, CFPs. You can reach out to them. Having additional hands on deck, a CA, a CFA, a CFP, helping you, manage your finances is never a bad idea. Learn from them, ask them questions only. There's no issue in that. I think finally investing your money is the ultimate goal, right? आपको अगर नहीं समझ आ रहा और नहीं हो रहा आपसे, तो asking for help is absolutely okay, and that is why they're there. That's their profession. So I think ask for help, get a CA on board, get a CFP on board, whoever you find comfortable, and but don't stop learning. Ask them questions. Make sure you keep them on their toes.
Sure, that actually makes sense. So I'll ask you the next question. My next question is basically बहुत लोगों को नहीं समझता कि किस किस में, जैसे अब मुझे नहीं समझता कि पीपीएफ में कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना है. सो इफ आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड अ पर्टिकुलर एसेट क्लास, या फिर मुझे क्रिप्टो नहीं समझता या फिर मुझे स्टॉक मार्केट नहीं समझता, तो क्या मुझे फिर भी उसमें इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए अगर मुझे पता ही नहीं कि गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट करने का सही तरीका क्या है? Still, should I be investing in something that I don't understand? What is your take on this, Ali?
So
Sally, your voice is not audible.
hello, sorry, I think I was on mute still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think Warren Buffett says this, right? He doesn't invest in companies that he doesn't understand, like in businesses. So I somehow I'm thoda 50-50 on this. I believe yes, if you don't understand some certain things, you shouldn't go their way, especially when it comes to more risky investments. Like you have crypto, you have REITs, you have private equity. उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा रिस्क हो जाता है, and I would suggest staying away from it if you don't understand it, because there's no point. Me personally, I also stay away from a lot of these things because I don't think I am equipped enough or I understand enough for me to make that kind of investment, that kind of risky investment. But then there are certain asset classes जो आपको समझ में अगर नहीं भी आए तो it's okay. Like for example, a PPF, correct? It's a public provident fund asset class, which is fairly safer than the rest. You have gold again, which is fairly safer than the rest. If you don't understand how to invest in gold, like if you don't understand the digital gold aspects, like you have HGB or ETF or digital gold, एक दो चार gold coin लेके रख लो ना. That's also investing in gold. That's not a problem. But I think understanding what you want to invest in is important. So कुछ नहीं तो मतलब सिर्फ चाचा मामा ने बता दिया तो इन्वेस्ट कर लिया, ऐसा प्लीज नहीं करना. I am quite highly against it. FD करा लो कुछ नहीं तो, but जो मतलब समझ में तो आना ही चाहिए जहां आपको इन्वेस्ट करना है.
एफडी के तो अंकुर जी मना करते हैं ना, साइली?
अरे ठीक है यार, कोई हाँ बोलता है कोई ना बोलता है, इट्स ओके. हम तो हाँ बोलते हैं. मुझे तो बड़ा मजा आता है. मेरे
Yes.
एफडी ने मेरी डाउन पेमेंट की
Mm-hmm.
सुविधा कर ली थी. आजकल तो 9% दे रही है एफडी, तो आई वुड नॉट से एफडी शुड बी रूल्ड आउट completely. It's again, you should allocate some part of it to the FD, right? It's a like a risk, not risk free completely, but a very risk limited asset. It's something that you should definitely have in your portfolio. क्योंकि कल अगर, see, why I say that you should have some FDs in your account is, for example, agar, like let's go back in time to 2020, right, where suddenly market has dipped like 30-40%, and work from home has happened. People are losing their jobs, people are losing their salaries, companies पैसा नहीं दे रही है, like you no idea what the future is going to hold, and आपको पैसे की जरूरत पड़े तो आप क्या करोगे? A lot of people have withdrawn their money at a 30-40% rollback from the stock market because they didn't have risk free assets invested in. So at that time, if I withdrew my FDs, I would have stayed invested in the stock market, and my stock market investments would have recovered, and I wouldn't have to take that 30% cut. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important to have all different types of assets in your portfolio. You just have to understand कि why you're investing in them. एफडी में क्यों? क्योंकि वो रिस्क फ्री है, अगर जरूरत पड़े मार्केट डाउन वाउन हो तो अननेसेसरीली एट अ सब पार रिटर्न यू डोंट हैव टू विड्रॉ योर इन्वेस्टमेंट. एफडी जैसे लाइक इमरजेंसीज एक्सेट्रा के लिए होता है.
मेक सेंस. एंड मेरा वही क्वेश्चन था कि अगर इमरजेंसी फंड किसी को रखना है, एंड टू पीपल हु डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इमरजेंसी फंड, इट्स बेसिकली अमाउंट ऑफ मनी. जैसे आपको एक महीने में लेट्स से 10,000 रुपये चाहिए टू सर्वाइव द मंथ. दिस इज ऑल द एक्सपेंसेस कैलकुलेटेड. तो 10,000 रुपये चाहिए, तो 10,000 into 6 will give you 6 months of emergency fund, and 10,000 into 12 will give you 1 year का emergency fund. You should at least have 6 months का emergency fund in your बैंक अकाउंट और इधर एफडी एज वेल, राइट साइली? कि एफडी में रखना बेटर ऑप्शन है इमरजेंसी फंड को देन इन योर बैंक अकाउंट.
सो you can split it. According to me, my personal favorite answer is to split it. एक या 2 महीने का खर्चा आप बैंक अकाउंट में रख लो, ओके, बिकॉज इट्स सुपर एक्सेसिबल. और बाकी का शॉर्ट टर्म एफडी में डाल दो कि वो 1-1.5 दिन में मिल जाए. So I think splitting it is better because your FD will give you better returns than your savings account. So yeah, that's what I think. And if you are a little bit more, if you want a little bit more than your FD also, then you can consider liquid mutual funds or overnight mutual funds. Those are debt mutual funds, but that's again a little bit more complex. तो अगर आपको नहीं like risk लेना है इमरजेंसी फंड के साथ, तो शॉर्ट टर्म एफडीज एंड बैंक अकाउंट सुपर बेस्ट.
दैट मेक सेंस. तो आई विल आस्क यू फ्यू ऑडियंस का क्वेश्चन जो उन्होंने कमेंट्स में पूछा है. सो देयर इज वन क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम पीयूष. पीयूष पूछते हैं कि एनीथिंग अबाउट बॉन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट. सो एनीथिंग लाइक अगर किसी को बॉन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, व्हाट इज द बेस्ट वे टू डू दैट अकॉर्डिंग टू यू साइली? एंड हाउ शुड वन डू इट? लाइक कैसे डिसाइड करें कि कितना बॉन्ड में जाए, कितना स्टॉक्स में जाए?
Sure, but I just want to give a little shout out to Laksh. He's here and throwing cute emojis at the like at us.
Yes. Hi, Laksh.
He's also a finance creator. He is fantastic. I really enjoy his work. Anyway, the question was about bonds, right? अगर किसी को bonds में invest करना है तो कैसे कर सकते हैं? So there are two ways to do it. One is direct bonds खरीदो अगर आपको knowledge हो, या डेट म्यूचुअल फंड से कर लो. ओके, म्यूचुअल फंड्स हर तरीके के होते हैं. तो देर आर डेट म्यूचुअल फंड्स दैट इन्वेस्ट इन बॉन्ड्स. नाउ बॉन्ड्स आल्सो हैव डिफरेंट लेवल्स ऑफ रिस्क. कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड्स आर द रिस्कीएस्ट. Basically, bonds are like a loan that you give the company or a government, correct? So corporate bonds are the riskiest because these loans are given to the company. Government bonds are the least risky because they're given to the government. They're backed by the government. तो I think कितना करना चाहिए? Again, as you grow older, you should increase this asset allocation towards bonds because bonds become a little bit stabler. They're less risky than equity. They don't move इतना ऊपर नीचे on an everyday basis, but they don't give you that kind of return also. So I think beginning में, if you're starting out your life, if you're young, you have lots of financial goals, long-term investment horizon. So start heavily on equity and then move slowly towards bonds. Like I said, na, as 100 minus age rule in the beginning. So if you are investing 100 rupees, 100 minus your age. If you're 20, 80% should go into equity and 20% in debt. That's a good benchmark to start with. Again, you shouldn't just have equity and debt in your portfolio, but that's a good way to figure out कितना डालना चाहिए कहाँ.
Yeah, true. Okay. Shruti, you wanna take the next audience question?
Yes, yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Saili, for sharing that. Our next question from audience is Suchit is asking how to handle FOMO for retail investors. We will keep waiting for market to fall so that we can get our bargain as the markets are at all time now. Market veterans are predicting recession in 2023. How to invest at present scenario? would you like to answer this,
Darling,
Saili?
market veterans had predicted a recession already. कि मतलब यूरोप में तो पहुंच चुका है recession, correct? If you keep waiting for the right time to invest, you will always be waiting. There were lots of people who were waiting at the like mid 20, not even late, a little late 2020 अगस्त सितंबर में कि और मार्केट नीचे गिरेगा, 30% गिरा है, 40% गिरा है और नीचे गिरेगा, फिर इन्वेस्ट करूंगा. उसके बाद जहां से वो उठा है भाई साहब, गया ही नहीं वहां तक. So it's really not a waiting game. Very famous line says, "Time in the market is more valuable than timing the market." So nobody can time the market. Again, किसी ने future तो देखा नहीं है. Nobody knows कहाँ जाएगा, ऊपर जाएगा, नीचे जाएगा. So the best way to do your investing is in a staggered manner. Slowly करते जाओ. कि क्योंकि मार्केट ऊपर नीचे तो होता रहेगा. So as you invest today, invest tomorrow. अगर कम हुआ तो you'll average out your price. So focus on averaging out your price more than trying to wait for the right time, wait for the right bargain.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead, Shruti.
yeah, so thank you so much, Saili. Definitely, this is something very important, and I believe everybody should have this thing in mind. There is a tweet from Saurav. He's saying, "Thanks a lot, Fin Cocktail, for your answers. I recently let my job for my startup, and so I have a lot of questions for my finances." So, Saurav, I would say that please do connect with Kalyan or Saili in DM. Definitely, they will help you out with your queries. I have next my question to Saili is Saili, how often does one need to rebalance one's investment? Can you please help me with that?
So rebalancing means कि, for example, if you have decided कि मैं 60% in equity, 30% in debt, 10%, 5% in gold, 5% in other assets, ऐसा मैंने portfolio बनाया है. And like that is my asset allocation. अगर आपने ऐसा decide कर लिया है और कल, for example, in a month or 2 months, your equity investments का value becomes a lot more. So automatically वो 60 से 70 या 80 या 90% पहुंच जाता है. Correct, because like somebody said, markets are at an all-time high. But that doesn't work for you because then that is too much risk that you're taking on for the future. Correct. So rebalancing is setting that again, थोड़ा सा equity mutual funds withdraw करके buying the other assets so that your portfolio is rebalanced. मतलब it goes back to your 60 30 10 5 5 ऐसा वाला percentage. Rebalancing your portfolio is important. It should be done at least once a year. That is what I believe. That is what a lot of market veterans believe also. A lot of people say that you should do it every quarter, every 6 months, but that has a lot of tax implications as well. So I believe once a year is enough. And yeah, I think rebalancing should be done in a tax prudent way. So you should make sure that you are not ignoring your tax implications or any exit load implications for this.
Understood. Thank you so much, Saili. So once a year, it is very important. Okay, I would like to ask you a question from our audience. So Lakshay is asking, I want to ask how to build portfolio of rental properties. Saili, would you like to answer that?
Laksh, don't. Laksh already knows how to do this. I'm
This
halfway
is a
through his
different
show.
लक्ष्य साइली. दिस इज अ डिफरेंट लक्ष्य का अलग क्वेश्चन है. वो क्रिप्टो के बारे में उन्होंने कुछ पूछा, बट
Oh,
दिस इज अ
sorry,
डिफरेंट
sorry, sorry. I
लक्ष्य.
thought this was I thought that was the same Laksh. Anyway, how do you build a portfolio of rental properties? First of all, building a portfolio of rental properties gets complicated because it's a very capital intensive investment. आपको बहुत सारा पैसा लगेगा पहले to build that kind of portfolio of real estate जिसके ऊपर आप rental income कमा सकते हो. But and then there is obviously the legal implications. You have to make sure that the properties are run right, the renters pay, blah blah blah. There's a lot of complex issues behind it. But there are a lot of new, like interesting fintech companies that are getting into this space. Um, I would like to name names right now, but you can DM us for that. There are a few new age companies that help you capitalize on rental yield. Basically, what they do is they pool in investors' money like you and I, and then they go and buy, or like buy assets like, trucks ho gaya, scooters ho gaya, yeah, property ho gaya, and then they lease it to bigger companies like your Pepperfry, your Dunzo, etc., etc. So they help you capitalize on the rental yields, but that is a like those are new age fintech companies, again highly risky. So disclaimer, not promoting anything, but there are new age ways to invest in that. There is also REITs, where that you can use to, like, invest in real estate and make some rental yield. But again, you have to figure out how much of a risk you're willing to take on that.
Great, great. So I have one question from Sachin who asked you, ki, basically he is asking ki before investing, should I ask myself before investing and make a risk-free initial stage? I didn't get it, Sachin. If you want, you can just come up and ask the question. I'm not sure what exact question is that, but let's. uh, सचिन इफ यू वांट आप वो क्वेश्चन अच्छे से लिख सकते हो मुझे समझा नहीं वो क्वेश्चन and meanwhile let's play a small rapid fire round with Saili. So rapid fire round में I will ask you quick questions Saili आपको quickly answer करना है but of course आपको जो सही है वो
Oh ho
बताना है.
ho.
Yes.
Oh ho
So
ho.
yes, so मैं आपको अभी पूछने वाला हूँ the favorite ways of investing in, and then I'm going to name a asset class and you're gonna say कि किस तरीके से आपको पसंद है invest करना. ठीक है. So the
Okay.
favorite way of investing in equity.
Mutual funds.
Okay,
I
mutual
don't
fund
do
it
stock
is.
picking.
Okay.
बहुत मेहनत है.
मेहनत तो है. True. Gold.
SGBs.
Okay. Bonds.
Some corporate bonds directly and some mutual funds. I have a few debt funds.
Okay. Crypto.
हाय हाय बिल्कुल नहीं.
मगर आप तो क्रिप्टो में
थोड़ा सा.
इन्वेस्ट करते हो ना.
हाँ, but very
अच्छा.
little. We are invested in crypto, but very very little. Like it's like I think
Okay.
1% of my portfolio or something like that.
आई थिंक ये वाला क्वेश्चन लक्ष्य का भी क्वेश्चन का आंसर हो गया एक तरीके से बिकॉज ही वांटेड टू
No,
नो कि
see,
आप क्रिप्टो में.
I really think that crypto has potential in the future, but it's just like I said, मैंने पहले भी बोला था, I am not an engineer, I am not a data scientist, and I don't understand crypto a lot. So I think I need to do a little bit more, like, studying on it. But I think that there is a lot of potential in crypto. It's too soon for me to realize it. It's too soon for me to judge कि ये कितना कहाँ जाएगा.
एंड प्लस एक और चीज जो है ऑफन वी गेट कंफ्यूज बिटवीन द वेब थ्री एंड क्रिप्टो बिकॉज वेब थ्री एज अ टेक्नोलॉजी इज अमेजिंग लाइक ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी एंड वेब थ्री बट आई डोंट थिंक कि क्रिप्टो के साथ उसको लिंक करना बिकॉज क्रिप्टो डजंट हैज underlying asset and that is the reason why
100%.
lot of fund managers, I'm sure you must be talking to a lot of fund managers, वो भी यही मानते हैं कि इसमें क्या लगाना, इसकी कोई वैल्यू है क्या.
100%. 100%. And a
Exactly.
lot of these tokens and coins, etc., etc., are so risky because they don't have a lot to back it up. वो मतलब किसी like एक ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर बैठे हुए किसी क्रिएटर के सर पे बैठ के किसी और ने कोई और कॉइन बना दिया है. So it's like a house of cards that they've built. So I think more than the token, I agree. I am very heavily invested and like very as in emotionally, not in terms of money, but I'm looking forward to what Web3 advancements we have in the like next 2 years at least, because I think it's going to change a lot of ways we do a lot of things, especially in logistics, etc. So I'm excited for that.
ग्रेट. एंड नाउ आई वांट टू नो कि आपका पहला इन्वेस्टमेंट कौन सा था, लाइक आपने किसी स्टॉक में इन्वेस्ट किया था तो पहला स्टॉक आपका कौन सा था.
अरे अरे मेरा पहला इन्वेस्टमेंट बहुत बड़ा क्यूट था. So I made an investment of like 1,000 rupees in an index mutual fund. सेंसेक्स वाला इंडेक्स म्यूचुअल फंड था. फर्स्ट टाइम लाइक व्हेन आई गॉट माय जॉब एंड लाइक आई हैड वेरी बेसिक कुछ 5-7 हज़ार रुपए मिलते थे, और उसमें से भी मम्मी ने बोला कि 1 हज़ार रुपए तो इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. तो आई सिलेक्टेड वन क्यूट लिटिल इंडेक्स फंड एंड आई वाज लाइक, सी मुझे तो नहीं पता हाउ टू पिक म्यूचुअल फंड्स एट दैट टाइम. सो आई वाज लाइक चलो इंडेक्स फंड. मैंने थोड़ा पढ़ा उसके बारे में. आई वाज लाइक यू नो व्हाट, इंडेक्स फंड्स उसमें से लाइक इट सीम्स सेफर देन द रेस्ट. So I invested in index mutual fund.
Okay, so you're not going to name any particular stock, right? Any favorite
No,
stock that
no,
you have?
never. I never
Okay.
name names if you know
Oh,
me.
yes, yes, yes. That is why I wanted to know कि ये साइली का favorite stock कौन सा है. आपने कभी नहीं बताया, you know. Ah,
Never.
okay,
That's a secret I will never tell.
cool. So, you are into NFTs or not? Do you think it is a something that can, have some value in future? Do you believe in NFTs?
See now, see now, NFTs are a whole other ball game, right? Because yes, there is a section of it which is like digital art, which protects in terms of copywriting or trademarking, how we have for everything else. NFTs are like a digital copyright or a digital trademark that can protect a lot of art, like if you have a sound, if you have an image, etc. But I think it's um, again, it's too nascent, it's too premature to bet on it right now. What develop hone do thoda, because it's not with the hoopla that was made about it earlier this year. Now suddenly everybody's forgotten about NFTs and cryptos and whatnot. Why? Because it was too premature to get excited about it and talk about it and make it so big. It was too overvalued. It was too given too much importance before its time. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay. And which is your favorite finance YouTube channel?
Oh, I love Pranjal Kamra's finance channel, bro. I love him. He's such a sweet person. He is so down to earth, and he gives such good gyan. I love it.
Yes, I agree to that. I mean, we have
Yeah,
all learned so much from him. Yeah, it's really
fully.
insightful. And he also gets you excited about the stock market. I mean, very few
Oh,
people can do that,
fully.
and he can do that. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. So, favorite book on finance?
So there's a book, like a lot of people say Rich Dad, Poor Dad, etc. But there's a book by Monica Halan. She used to be uh, uh an author. Sorry, and uh, she used to work for the media somewhere. But basically, it's a book on the Indian mindset of money, and it talks about money from the Indian perspective. I think Rich Dad Poor Dad, a lot of these intelligent investors, etc. It's very heavily US based. So I think if somebody wants to start investing in the like start from the basics, I think Let's Talk Money by Monica Halan is very very insightful, and it's very comprehensive. उसने मतलब everything she's covered and in a very like थोड़ा compressed version. So I think I really like it.
That is great. So, let me take one. We are done with the rapid fire. Let me take some audience question. आरती ने पूछा है कि how do I figure which single stock are best for me to invest on? Now that is a question. Siley, you want to take that?
Kalyan, you also laughed now because I'm not going to be able to answer this.
Okay. So basically, any general advice for her?
So honestly, how do you pick a stock? Picking stocks is a very big process. First of all, you have to understand the company's workings in and out. वो कंपनी क्या करती है, कैसे करती है, कितना पैसा बनाती है, और नहीं बनाती तो क्यों नहीं बनाती, कहाँ खर्च करती है, everything. You should be able to understand the company fully before you invest in a stock is what I believe. But a lot of people say that a few ratios here that is all good. I think it requires a lot of study to pick stocks. Instead, I would say pick mutual funds because they all ultimately invest in stocks only. So if you pick equity mutual funds, it will make your life easier. And if you don't know how to pick stocks, it's the best way to get into the stock market.
Perfect, perfect. So let me take few more questions. Just a minute. Okay. Um, all right, all right, all right, all right. Okay. So basically, Suchit asks you, ki, what are your views on US stocks? इन्वेस्टिंग अभी करना सही रहेगा? एंड कैन वी स्टार्ट विथ Nasdaq 100 और S&P 500 index funds? Which one do you think is better?
I think I would stay away from US stocks, as in the conversation on US stocks right now, because um, inter investing in international markets again requires a lot of study of the entire market as well. Like I can tell you what the investment sentiment is about India, about the economics of our country. But if you look at the states, etc., it's much more volatile. It's much more you don't know what's going on. So unless you're there to understand the pulse of the market, unnecessarily going like investing directly in the US stocks may not be the right move. If you want to diversify your investments globally, there are lots of, again, I sound like, a mutual fund band party, I sound like. But there are international mutual funds that invest in different countries. There are opportunities funds that invest in like the US, Europe, China, Japan, everything. So I think that's something that you should consider.
That is true. And okay, I don't want in particular वैसा, but then there is a मोतीलाल ओसवाल का भी FN फंड्स ऑफ फंड्स का म्यूचुअल फंड एक है जो आई बिलीव S&P 500 में लगाता है. Do you think it is better to invest in that rather than getting into direct US stocks में through various
Oh
application? Do
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. You should look at like either fund of funds or mutual funds, especially.
Great.
So I think yeah, yeah, that's a better option.
ओके, फाइन. सो एक आदित्य का क्वेश्चन है. आई विश टू नो वेदर VPF must be considered as a debt investment. Siley, you want to take this?
Oh, sorry. Yes, VPF you said, right? Can you hear me?
VPF. I think it's voluntary provident fund, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, yes, voluntary. Yes, yes, yes. I know what that is. It's just so not really a debt product, but you should consider it in the basket of like risk-free products, where you have your FD, your PPF, your EPF. It goes under that because your returns are going to be in that category and your risk is also in sort of that category. Debt में थोड़ा ज़्यादा risk हो सकता है if you go the corporate bond route. So I think it's in that basket of government related investments.
Got it. So one question from Sachin is ki, three, four things to keep in mind before investing and risk free in the initial stages. Like, uh, it's just how you should begin your investing.
I think एक तो risk free तो कुछ नहीं होता. So I would say risk limited or as low risk as you can get in the market right now. Start with your basics, start with your FD, start with your PPF, start with your bonds, and then work your way up to your corporate bonds and equity. तो आई थिंक पहले एफडी से तो चालू कर लो फिर जाओ आगे धीरे धीरे.
अच्छा, इसी के साथ ना लॉट ऑफ पीपल व्हाट दे डू इज बिकॉज दे आर वेरी यंग एंड उनको इतना समझ में आ गया कि इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है स्टॉक मार्केट में. दे आर 18, सम आर 17 एंड इवन उस एज पे भी दे स्टार्ट इन्वेस्टिंग इन स्टॉक मार्केट बट दे डोंट इन्वेस्ट इन देमसेल्व्स, व्हिच इज कि वो किताबें नहीं खरीदते, वो कुछ अलग कोर्सेज नहीं चूज करते, बट दे जस्ट वांट टू गेट इनटू द मार्केट बिकॉज ऐसा बोलते हैं कि ऑफ कोर्स है भी ट्रू, बट कि आप स्टॉक मार्केट में जितने टाइम तक रहोगे उतना ज़्यादा कंपाउंडिंग होगा. So time is a very important factor. That is true, but at what cost is also matters, right, Saili? So any advice to people like that, because a lot of young people just want to get in no matter what.
करेक्ट एब्सोल्युटली इट्स लाइक मतलब आप तैरने से पहले स्विमिंग पूल में थोड़ी जंप मारोगे राइट. You have to learn how to swim before you jump into the deep end. So I think it's very important to understand what you're getting into before you get into it, especially if you're young. Just because पैसा बनेगा, yes, but बनेगा, but वो कैसे बनेगा? It is important to learn that. वरना you'll just keep burning your hands.
Correct. So I will ask you एक और question from me actually. So basically is कि there are so many types of mutual fund available in the market. How should one choose a fund? And उसी के साथ साथ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स इट हैपन कि 2-3 फंड हमने चूज कर लिया, बट वो 2-3 फंड्स में एक ही टाइप के स्टॉक्स होते हैं, तो ओवरलैपिंग ऑफ स्टॉक्स हो जाता है। तो मतलब नहीं है कि यू आर पेइंग different expense ratio for different mutual funds. How should one avoid overlapping of stocks and how should one decide to choose a mutual fund? कैसे select किया जाए?
So I think first and foremost, how to pick a mutual fund. Category choose कर लो पहले. Step number one, equity or debt. If you're looking at equity mutual fund, again, it goes higher return and higher risk, right? You have your index funds, which are basic, low risk, low expense ratio, not low return, but lower in the category. Then you have large cap funds, then you have mid cap, small, and you have small cap, and then you obviously have flexi cap, etc., etc. But if you want to avoid overlap of funds and you want to know how to pick them, first and foremost, you have to look at the fund's background. Yes, I know that past returns don't guarantee the future, but varna judge kaise karoge, right? You have to see how the fund has performed in the past. You have to see if it's beaten the benchmark or no. You have to see if the fund manager has stuck to its investment mandate. ये सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑनलाइन मिल जाती है आपको, या फिर म्यूचुअल फंड हाउस को अगर आप कांटेक्ट करेंगे तो वो दे देते हैं. ऑल ऑफ दिस इज इन द documents of the mutual fund itself. They have to disclose it. So ये सब चीजें देखने के बाद then I believe that if you oversaturate in the same category, you end up overlapping your mutual fund stocks. So like अगर आपने 3 या 4 या 5 mutual funds in the large cap category में invest कर लिया, more often than not, all of them are going to be investing in the same large cap companies. तो एक या दो ही फंड चूज करो ना. Why are you investing in 5 different large cap funds? So it's important to diversify within mutual funds also. Like एक index fund रख लो, large cap रख लो, flexi cap रख लो, diversified रख लो, then debt fund रख लो, एक corporate bond debt fund रख लो, एक liquid fund रख लो, etc. So as you diversify in your asset classes, diversify in your mutual funds as well to avoid overlap. And there are some like websites, I think, that help you understand the percentage of mutual fund overlap, but I don't know how accurate they are. But what you can do is you can go and look on like money control or value research about the particular fund you're investing in and see which companies they are investing in and compare सीधा. Just like see where is the overlap. तो आप ही को समझ में आ जाएगा.
Thank you so much, Hailey. You summed it up pretty well. And I understood. I hope everybody understood who wanted to like get into this thing. एक चीज मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूँ दैट स्मॉल केस वर्सेस म्यूचुअल फंड आपके अकॉर्डिंग विच इज बेटर विच वन शुड बी गेट इनटू
So, small case is riskier. Mutual fund has, more, like much more. Like अगर एक म्यूचुअल फंड में 100 स्टॉक्स होंगे तो एक स्मॉल केस में 10 या 5 स्टॉक्स या 7 भी हो सकते हैं. तो it's riskier, but I think again it depends on you, right? अगर आपको स्टॉक पिकिंग या ये समझ में आता है स्मॉल केसेस, then it makes sense. But if you are somebody who is a novice and who doesn't know how to pick stocks, who doesn't know how to take that decision, who doesn't want to take that much of a risk, but can invest for the long term, then you'd much rather choose equity mutual funds. If you are somebody who understands who knows how to research the manager who's suggesting a small case or building the small case, who understands how you can, analyze the stocks within the small case, then sure, why not? But yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Great. So we have Laksh with us. Hi Laksh, how are you, man?
Hi.
हाय साहिल, हाय कल्याण. फाइन. कैसे हो आप सब?
ठंड कैसी चल रही है?
ठंड, मैं इंडिया में आ गया हूँ तो अभी ठंड तो नहीं है यहाँ पे इतनी.
Oh my God, बढ़िया.
और ये दुबई वाला ट्रिप कैसा था यार लक्ष्य? हम लोग दूर से देखे, हम लोग को नहीं पता.
मैं भी नहीं गया. मैं यूएस में ही था तो मैं दुबई नहीं जा पाया। 2 दिन के लिए मैं जाता, जेट लैग हो जाता, तो मैं गया नहीं फिर।
अच्छा अच्छा, ओके ओके ओके,
हाँ।
ग्रेट. So okay, Rudra is also here. Rudra, you want to ask some questions?
हेलो
Yes, Rudra. Yeah.
हेलो 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 एवरीवन।
या आवाज आ रही है, बोलिए.
हाँ, तो अभी जैसे कि मैंने एक क्वेश्चन सुना ना मैम का स्मॉल केस के बारे में, तो कुछ बात हो रही थी स्मॉल केस के बारे में, तो मैं ये बताना चाहता था कि उसमें जो है मैंने स्मॉल केस में कुछ स्टॉक्स चूज करे थे, तो मेरा उसको जो रिटर्न था ना 1 ईयर में 8% का आया था मुझे, तो मुझे म्यूचुअल फंड से काफी अच्छा लगा स्मॉल केस। हेलो।
Okay, okay. D- I mean, yeah, that is good. I mean,
आपको यू सेड कि 8% मिले, राइट? 8%
हाँ,
इन अ
इन
ईयर,
1 ईयर, इन अ ईयर।
इन 1 ईयर।
या
हाँ, इंडेक्स फंड्स 10-12, कभी-कभी 15 भी दे सकते हैं एक साल में, बट दैट्स 1 ईयर। 1 ईयर इज अ वेरी शॉर्ट टर्म, करेक्ट? और
या
वही स्मॉल केस अगर वो करेक्ट ईयर नहीं होता, तो वही स्मॉल केस 3 या 4% भी दे सकता है।
यस
आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू
एब्सोल्युटली।
से कि रिस्क ज्यादा है स्मॉल केस में, तो जिन्हें जमता है, व्हाई नॉट? ऑफ कोर्स, इफ यू आर विलिंग टू टेक दैट मच मोर रिस्क, एब्सोल्युटली यू शुड गो फॉर इट।
तो अभी मेरा एक क्वेश्चन ये था कि इंडेक्स फंड में हम इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सकते हैं क्या? क्योंकि एक्चुअली मुझे अभी कुछ कभी मैंने उसमें ट्राई नहीं करा इंडेक्स फंड में।
मेरा तो बड़ा फेवरेट इन्वेस्टमेंट है इंडेक्स फंड। लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट से लाइक के हिसाब से इन्वेस्ट कीजिएगा, मतलब 7 साल एंड अबव, 7 to 10 years, इतना लॉन्ग टर्म।
ओके
क्योंकि
ओके।
इंडेक्स इंडेक्स मतलब आप सेंसेक्स और निफ्टी देखिए ना, वो रोज ऊपर नीचे तो होता ही है, बट
हाँ
5 7 10 साल में बढ़ जाता है।
हाँ, बट एक्चुअली क्या है कि मुझे एक बैड हैबिट ये है ना, मैं एफएनओ बहुत ज्यादा करता हूँ। हेलो।
दैट्स अ कॉन्वर्सेशन फॉर अ होल अदर टाइम। एफएनओ तो मतलब अगर आपको उतना नॉलेज है तो, इफ यू आर अ ट्रेडर, देन श्योर, बट आई वुड सजेस्ट स्टार्टिंग एन एसआईपी ऑन द साइड फॉर एन इंडेक्स फंड।
हाँ, वो थोड़ा मैंने डर की वजह से ना एसआईपी वगैरह कर रखा है, अदरवाइज एफएनओ अच्छा चलता है मेरा।
बेस्ट है वो,
हम्म।
डर के आगे जीत है, अच्छा है।
अरे मतलब आप एफएनओ करते हो तो इंडेक्स तो कर ही सकते हो, क्या डरना.
हाँ, वो बट कभी मैंने ट्राई नहीं करा, तो
हाँ, ओके.
चलो
हाँ,
ठीक है,
बट
ओके।
इट्स अ गुड थिंग, यू शुड गिव इट अ ट्राई. एंड जैसे कि साइली ने भी बोला कि लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए इट्स अ वेरी गुड वे ऑफ इन्वेस्टिंग. बहुत ही सेफ है, बहुत ही अच्छा है, एंड आपको अच्छे रिटर्न्स मिलेंगे लॉन्ग टर्म में. दैट्स द
ओके,
थिंग.
थैंक यू एवरीवन।
Great. Thank you, Rudra, for asking that question. Shruti, you want to add something? I mean, we are done with all the questions. Saili, thank you so much for being there and answering each and every questions. तो बहुत मजा आया
Thank
आपके
you
साथ.
so much for having me. It was absolutely so much fun.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sayali. We are very, it have been an amazing session, amazing space, and we very much loved your all of your answers. It was very insightful. Thank you so much.
Yes, super
Thank you. Thank you
insightful.
so much for having me.
थैंक यू साइली. एंड आई थिंक वी आर
Thank
डन.
you.
एंड जिसको इसकी रिकॉर्डिंग भी सुननी है, द रिकॉर्डिंग इज अवेलेबल. लाइक हम लोग जैसे ही स्पेस बंद करेंगे, द रिकॉर्डिंग विल बी अवेलेबल, सो यू कैन लिसन इट अगेन. एंड थैंक यू सो मच. एंड यू वांट टू फॉलो अस, यू कैन फॉलो साइली दिस
Also,
फिन
I
कॉकटेल. या.
also I would like to say thanks to all the audience, to all the speakers and all the listeners. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. It was amazing. Like, actually, what happens that whenever all these people join, I feel really great that these people are, all of you guys are very much interested in hearing the communication and the
100%. So
discussion that
it
we are
it it
having.
feels
Yeah,
so good, so good.
definitely. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And definitely thank you so much, Saili. I would love to have you again on our space sessions. And I hope next time,
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, next time I hope कि नियति भी available हो, रिचा भी available हो. This
yeah,
time they
yeah,
could
Richa is
not,
also
but
on
yeah,
there.
definitely. So thank you so much, Saili, and thank you to all
Done.
the
Thank
audience out
you.
there. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you.
Bye.
So yeah, closing this space now. Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you for listening to us. And if you want to participate in live spaces, just follow our Twitter handles. हम ऐसे spaces हर हफ्ते करते हैं. And अगर आपको ये पसंद आया तो follow करना हमको and share this podcast. Thank you so much and see you next week. Bye bye.